Things, it don't matter.
stuff.
Don't matter. Fix the things. This is real life.
Yes.
Yeah. So always started with a glory to God. And that's how I want to start it today. We here just want to have a casual conversation about what's been going on in the world of standalone devices. Because we got some news that dropped a couple days ago, I think it was. Caught me by surprise. I think it was like after I'd got home from work. It was like probably nearly 2 a.m. and I see these videos, push three standalone. So I think I had heard a little bit of rumors about it a while ago, but didn't think anything of it. Because I've heard some rumors about even like Native Instruments coming out with a standalone workstation. Some random comment in one of my videos a while ago. So yeah, I didn't really look into those things at all. So, but here we are, push three. DJ Rec, thank you for jumping in. Let's have a conversation. I'd like to hear what y'all think. And everybody, welcome to King O Caesar.
What's up?
So, King O Caesar says he's got a lot of opinions and things to say on the subject. Standalone is exciting for me because I'm pretty much committed to standalone. I've been on the MPC for a while. Love what the standalone platform does. I don't really care about going to DAWs. King O Caesar's a little different. We were just talking. He wants to have like the ultimate hybrid setup between the power of computers and standalone. And I think that's probably the majority of people. But I think everyone appreciates the option of standalone. So, yeah, I want to talk about what's in store for the future of Akai and the MPC, what push three means for the future of standalone. So we can just get right into it. Mr. Tummy, what's good? Thanks for jumping in. And yeah, so um, I guess the first question is just a little background. Do you have any experience with Ableton, King O Caesar?
I don't have any experience with Ableton. I did try it.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool. I just did like a basic deep dive because it was like one of those DAWs that everybody was starting to use, and I was like, yeah, I probably should try to learn a little bit of this just in case anybody comes in my studio and wants to like use it. But
Hmm.
then I started using it, and I was like, this is like learning a doll. Like once you learn so many dolls, it's like
Yeah.
you know how to do a lot of the stuff. You just gotta learn the mechanics or whatever. But I just didn't want to go through like the learning curve, so I
Yeah.
kind of just left it alone.
And for me, I feel like there is a big learning curve with Ableton. Just from my experience, I thought it was initially just really different. So that's kind of my first initial impression. I've tried to look at it a few times because I mean just about every piece of equipment, if you buy a MIDI controller, an audio interface, it comes with like Ableton Light. So and I know there's like tutorials built into it, but I never really had the patience. The layout was just so different. So I don't know if I'll ever get into it, although seeing the push three has kind of fueled up the gas a little bit. I
Mm.
did notice the push 2 years back before the MPC Live was released, and I was looking at it as a serious option because it was a hardware device that you can chop on and do things similar to an MPC. And it fascinated me, but being that I wasn't really interested in going back to hybrid, because I think that was right around the time um, when I was looking at it, at least when like the MPC controllers, when Akai was just doing the controllers for the software, and I had messed with those, and although I enjoyed them, I was fed up, I guess, with just the so many issues that I would have with with computers and stuff, and maybe that's just my experience, maybe it's my limitation. King, you're more of the tech and spec kind of guy, so I think you're better at troubleshooting stuff. For me, maybe it's just my limit of knowledge, and I was just like, nah, let me move over to standalone. So yeah, so that's where we're at. But yeah, this is it's interesting. So I may, if I have an opportunity, may want to try it. But then again, I feel like trying all this new stuff always it's kind of like a hurdle to actually finishing music and actually getting better at my craft and sharpening the skills. So, any thoughts on that from there?
I kind of lost you, bro. I think I had fade and fell out or something. Like
Oh,
so, I
really?
didn't hear. Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't hear any of that. My screen went black and everything, and I was like, "What's
Oh,
going
really?
on?"
Oh, well, it looks like we still had you. So, yeah, just take a look at the comments so far. DJ Rex saying 2000 and no software. Yeah, I heard that. Battery life 2.5 hours. Yeah, my force checks all the boxes for me. No need to move from it. So those are
Yeah.
our opinions so far.
Well, I mean the honestly, man, like we have all these conversations about like what things can do, like even with the MPC, like I just did a video like on the limitations of the I put the MPC SC against the MPC X, and
Mhm.
the MPC XC does do more than the X does if you're trying to do specific things, right? But
Mhm.
like really, there is there really isn't any limitations with it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of workarounds for the standalone with the MPCs, and so you don't really need to have the the crazy specs and stuff like that. But I think for what the push is going to be, who they're going to be targeting are people who are in the box but want to do like standalone, the way that they do it in the box. So I think
Yeah.
like the MPC and the Ableton are similar but different at the same time. I don't think it's the same type of device,
No,
if that makes sense.
no,
You know
I
what I'm
don't.
saying?
Yeah. For me, as someone who wants to stick with just standalone, I'm looking at the standalone device as like a bigger picture because I'm also into like recording vocals. So looking at something like that or anything else that's available, I don't think there's anything better all around if you're looking to just stay standalone. Um,
Yeah.
but
You're talking about the MPCs?
yeah, the MPC, there's nothing I think as powerful as far as a one stop for doing everything all around, like recording songs. If you're gonna do it standalone, if you're gonna pick one device. But I don't know. I don't know about the push. I think I seen one video where someone was recording vocals in there, but I don't know what that really looks like if you're doing it straight to the device standalone.
Well, I mean, hey, the push is like, it's got a lot of merit to it, like they're talking about you're gonna like real time warping, and
Yeah,
the
that looks cool.
CPU and all the CPU power and all that stuff has to do with being able to do that, because the more CPU and RAM you have, like it's easier to like push those algorithms without
Yeah,
having any introducing any like noise or like you know bad stuff in there. So I like the fact that they made it module. I know a lot of people in the NPC community has been asking for like NPCs to be like that, where you can
yeah.
upgrade RAM and upgrade like the specs like you used to be able to.
Hmm.
But like I said, man, I just think that it's exciting, and I like it because it's gonna push all the companies
Right,
to do more. Like
right.
Akai. We know Native Instruments is probably working on something, but I don't think that you know is putting Akai out in the market like. And
No,
we gotta remember, like, Akai, like the MPC is like, to me, it's like the perfect hybrid, man. It's like you can take it and make beats on it by itself, but then you can also hook it up to the computer and like just unlock it,
yeah.
and do all the stuff that you can with it, you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? But even more, in the box too. So,
Yeah,
there's a million different ways you can use this with Ableton. You can use it with Logic. You can use it with Pro Tools. You can, use it with the MPC software. It's just crazy what you can do with it when it's inside the box. So, and even outside the box, man, these people have been making hits on NPCs. Like I think what the old ones had like 128 megabytes of of like RAM or something.
right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was.
So
It's a lot smaller for sure, and you can still do a lot with that. But yeah, this is interesting to see what they're doing. It's pretty dope because it's different. The fact that you can just buy it as a controller, like you're talking about the modular thing, and then you can turn it into standalone. Um, I haven't dug too deep into what the specs are, but just right off from watching some videos, it's got like 8 gigabytes of RAM. So
yeah,
I think this is definitely going to push Akai to do some other things, right?
yeah, I think it is. I think And I know that they got to be working on 3.0. So who knows what type of hardware they're going to release with that.
Yeah.
We don't know how far they are with it, but there's been hints to them like working on it. So every time they come out with a new version of the MPC, and they say that it's 3.0 is already out with the Force, right? And they're gonna merge the two, but
Right. And
once they merge the two, it's still got to be a different one. So it might just be 3.0 and it might be the new 3.0 or whatever.
it's funny because everybody's been waiting for that for a while, and we've been speculating. I think the first live I did with you, we were I think it was titled 3.0 What's Coming, you know?
Yeah.
And then Akai went and like they put us on 2.10, right?
Yeah.
So because they went from 2.9 and we thought we are gonna get 3.0, and they did this left turn. I was like, what? That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So I mean, is it crazy to even throw out the idea that we won't get that? Because if
I
we've
don't.
been we've been fooled once.
Well, they're all these companies. They're gonna release the stuff when they want to, and they're gonna give us like they're gonna let us see what they want us to see. I don't think any of these leaks and stuff that we get are like, some of them are by accident, but a lot of them, because if
Mhm.
these companies have the power, if they really want to like dead that stuff, they could.
Right.
But it's good for speculation. It's good to build hype.
Yeah. So yeah,
So
it seems that way, that a lot of that might be intentional. And I
yeah,
mean,
man.
the whole push three thing came by surprise, and maybe that's because I'm not in the Ableton world at all. Maybe people that were, kind of locked in more had an idea, and maybe there was some leaks, but I didn't see any leaks when it came to this. One thing that's interesting though that I heard a while ago was that Akai, like the push was actually like a partnership. It was like a joint thing with Akai and Ableton. And that's why we also see stuff like the Force, where it's something that integrates so well with Ableton.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Well, I don't think that this necessarily makes like them enemies or anything like that. We still have Ableton Link and and
Yeah, so
all
there's
that on the
still.
MPC, so you're still gonna be able to use it. I think these companies, what they're doing is kind of cool, is because they're coming out with their own stuff, but then they're also finding a way for other things to integrate with it. You know, so I think that's really cool too. That makes it kind of like because I like the game and stuff sometimes, so it's kind of like they're making it cross platform. We
Mhm.
have our MPC over here at Akai, and that's like our flagship, and we have our own proprietary software and stuff that we use. But we'll allow cross play against different providers or different like people in the game, like they do with like PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. There's certain games that are you know cross platform or whatever, and you can play games with different people from different systems.
Oh, okay.
So, I think that's really cool because that used to be not a thing at all.
Mm.
If you had FL, you were working with FL and there was no integration with anything else. Same thing with like Pro Tools and stuff like that. You had to be using like no Pro Tools stuff. I mean, you could use like other interfaces and stuff, but they weren't really letting other like softwares integrate with it
Hmm.
like that.
So when you're talking about, like earlier, when you talk about using the MPC with like Logic or different pieces of software, are you talking about just the fact that you can use the MPC software as like a plugin instance?
Yeah, but
Okay.
that's very powerful, and I'm gonna be touching on that stuff. I gotta get a new computer. My computer isn't powerful enough to do the videos that I want to do. I should have saved my money and got a better one when I got it, but I just needed something quick. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of things that you can do. You can open up a whole project of your whole project in your MPC software, run it as a plugin in Logic, and then drag all your samples in there. You can drag all your stems in there and then start mixing in Logic. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
You can just drag and drop your stems from like a
Yeah.
plugin.
Yep. So you take your MPC and you put it in the plugin, open up the plugin, then you open up your project in the MPC. Make sure your BPM is the same, and then all you do is bounce every track to a sample, and then you can drag that sample directly into
Hmm.
to the DAW.
Okay. Yeah,
You know.
I'm just trying to hear the appeal because for me, it's just like all the extra
So,
steps is not, it's not the thing for me. But
well, you want to know what's interesting too is because it's even easier to do it with Ableton.
oh, is
Like,
it?
so I
Yeah.
watched a video where you just link your channels to the channels in Ableton, and then you just track it in regularly. You can push record, and then
Hmm.
Ableton will record the audio in like you're
Okay.
tracking it.
Oh, that that
It's way
that brings
easier.
up another question for me on like the whole. So we got with the SP44 Mark II with a lesser known maybe sample track. I don't know if you're familiar with the sample track. I've had it on my channel.
Yeah, I've
Uh,
seen it. I
yeah.
haven't used it.
But with these devices, you can go straight USB audio to a computer. It works as an audio interface. I
Hmm.
think the Push 3 works that way too.
Yeah,
So, and I don't know if it's multi-track or not, but I know that's possible. You see like mixers that'll do that. You can multi-track and stuff. Uh, do you think that's something we'll see with the MPC in the future? That's definitely something that I would want because that just it takes away. Because then if you have that multi-track with the MPC, you really need nothing else, right?
right.
Like you can go straight into your DAW and then multi-track into different tracks and a mix. So
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just gonna depend on how much of a demand is for it, because the outs on the MPC is like basically the way that you can do that. You know,
yeah, I
you
mean
have like
somewhat.
what you have like 8 outs in there, so you can like literally like assign eight tracks to like, what I'm saying. If you're going out into like a mixer or something, and you can track that stuff in that way, or
Right.
like through rack gear or whatever. That's what they're there for. But
True.
I think it's easier like for people who want to mix inside the box to track over like USB. And I think Ableton also, the push also has like ADAT too. So you can hook up additional peripherals to it, or
Uh-huh.
preamps, using the ADAT system,
Mm.
you know, which that's pretty cool.
That's what's up. Not something I'm too familiar with, but definitely sounds like another efficient thing, like a nice little bonus. I want
Yeah,
to check
so
out.
like I have like my Apollo Twin here. It has like ADAP on it. If I wanted to hook like more preamps to it, like if I wanted to add more, I could hook it up to like a Scarlett 828 that has 8 microphone pre's, and I could run it through a cable, and then that would be digital too,
Mm.
like a digital out.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I kind of want to include the chat a little bit, so let me read a
Okay.
few of these. And yeah, if we could get a thumbs up, man, push this out a little bit so we can kind of expand the conversation and get some more opinions and thoughts on this. Let's see. DJ Rex says no one's gonna take that big thing outside. I think that's a comment on like the 2.5 hours. That's kind of what I was saying. Like it seems like I mean, I don't know. I don't really know how big it is. It looks kind of big. Is it something you would take around? It's nice to have that battery because it's always a backup thing just in case, it gets unplugged or some kind of power issue.
It don't look like it's that big though, man. I mean, as far as the form factor, I mean, it could be big as like a square like this,
Yeah.
but it's pretty like flat. It looks
Yeah,
like a
most
laptop.
definitely. Yeah, that's nice about that. Um, I- I've had the opinion, and a couple of people on the channel have commented that that's what they want to see with the MPC. Um, so yeah, definitely slimmer for sure, but I don't know because I never seen one in person. But looking at it on some of the videos, it kind of looks like the same footprint of an X, which is pretty huge.
Yeah.
But it could be possibly not. Maybe it's just the size of the creators because I did see Decap with it. It looked tiny with him. I was like, that must be a big guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
So who
And
knows?
some people just got massive hands or something.
Right. It could just all be relative. So, yeah. So that's where we're at with that. It's possibly more compact than you can tell from my perspective.
Well, me, I wouldn't want to change the form factor, like, of the NPCs, man. I mean, the NPC Live too, still my favorite NPC that's been
Mhm.
made so far. You know, I don't have no problems transporting the I take the MPC live, like especially when I go on trips and stuff. I take that thing everywhere. And
Mhm.
I don't have no problems putting it in a backpack or nothing like that. I mean,
Yeah.
if you really want it to just be compact, but I mean, that's just to me, that's just nitpicking. People just want
Yeah.
too much. If they do create like a smaller one or whatever, that'd be cool.
Mhm.
But I don't think I'd be interested in it because also like this, like 2.5 hours. I mean, that's not bad if you want to just bang out a quick beat, but like, you're talking about like 5 hours on the MPC
Is that what it
live.
is? Mm.
Yeah, the MPC live is like I think it's rated for like 6 hours, but you can get between 4.5 and
Yeah.
five
Like,
five hours on
I
it.
never reached the limit. I never have a situation where I really get that much time straight up, sit down, even 2.5 hours is quite a bit for me to stretch
Well,
out. But
you see me,
you
I literally have it right here, right? I always
you even
like
got it on.
this is my MPC, bro. I take this thing like
Yeah,
I'm just
for
it's
sure.
always sitting on the stand.
Yeah. No, I mean, relative to like all the other MPC, it's pretty much the most compact MPC that's
Yeah.
ever existed as far as portable and power.
And I
You
and I
know,
don't think it's and I really don't think it's bad, man. I really don't think it's like a bad form factor. I think like, if you just want to travel light and stuff like that, maybe mm, I don't be seeing what the big deal is about it.
yeah, I
Honestly.
take mine. I take mine everywhere every day. Got it in the bag.
Hmm.
No big deal. But yeah, so we had someone else comment here. They're waiting on the new live MPC, which is an interesting to bring up because there was rumors about a small mini MPC, but there hadn't been any leaks or any like supporting information on that. But it is kind of curious because we have seen leaks about the MPC one that's coming out. So why wouldn't they update the live as well as the one if they're just doing kind of smaller updates with the RAM, just the 4 gigs, and I'm pretty sure the one is coming soon because we've actually seen like the FCC leaks of that too, right? So
Yeah.
I would say that's coming, but it's kind of seems a little bit underwhelming now with this Push 3 release and knowing the just seeing the pattern like the X. I guess it's not a pattern yet till we see it come, but the X was released with just
Hmm.
a paint job pretty much and 4 gigs of RAM, and then you
Well,
get
it's
the
it's supposed to
instrument.
be limited too. I guess they're not gonna make a whole lot of them. There's probably gonna be
Is
more than usual, but I guess it is supposed to
okay.
be like limited. So I
Yeah.
guess that's pretty cool. And I do like the SE, man. I think the SE is beautiful. Like I said, all these devices, man. You see them on pictures and stuff, and then you get them in your hands, and you're like, bro, this thing is like fucking. It's like it's
Yeah, yeah,
beautiful. You know
for
what I'm saying?
sure. It does, and it is nostalgic as well. But
Yeah.
I think a big part of it is that. But it's definitely a great machine, regardless. I think people
Yeah.
just felt like I don't know if the marketing was on point where because
We just
why
we just
why
hyped
leak
it up.
it? Like if it wasn't leaked, then maybe it would have been a different story.
Well,
You
if
know?
if you think about it, I think like I honestly think that they did want to like do something for the 35th anniversary or whatever, but they wasn't really trying to hype it because we know when like they're trying to hype stuff like then the promotion is all crazy and stuff and they have lead up promotion. There was none of that stuff. They just kind of like said, hey, like we're like basically we did all the hyping up. We like big this thing up and made it bigger than what it was supposed to be. I think that this was I think they just wanted to update it, bring it up to the specs of the MPC Key 61, make it kind of special by bringing it back with the original colors, and that was it. I didn't think they really wanted to like make it a big thing. Like these NPCs, like literally, I honestly feel like they're just placeholders for what's coming next. And I think Akai is being smart with that too, honestly, because they're letting these other companies come out with the things like stuff like this, like the Push 3. We got like Logic on Apple now, which is I've been
Mhm.
watching a lot of videos on that. That's pretty crazy. Like the things that you can do as far as like Logic, like mobile now, you know. And we just got all these devices coming out. I think like even Native Instruments, they're probably gonna drop something. They keep hinting to something,
Yeah,
but they're not telling nobody
and
anything.
they've been doing some pretty big sales too, which
Yeah,
kind of makes me think like that's what Akai was doing before.
you know, but
Yeah.
like, you know, Akai, they got like their flagships out. They got like their products out that are doing pretty good. They're, you know, working with creators more. They're getting the input, and I think they're just watching the market to see what they need to put in the next one because, you know, I know for a fact, and this is a fact because every time they've dropped a new version of like the MPC software, like when they rebranded it and stuff, everybody can say 3.0 is already out with the force and all that stuff. But once they merge the two,
Mhm.
it's gonna be the new 3.0 if they don't call it 4.0. We don't know if they're gonna
Mhm.
even just call it. They
Do
might
you
just skip 3.0 and say like this
Yeah.
is 4.0, you
There's
know.
no,
They-
like, pattern, though they can jump around, but,
yeah,
do you know what version of 3.0 they're on? Because it's not 3.0, it's like 3 point something, right?
yeah, it's like 3 point something.
3.56,
Yeah, but you know, we'll know what it is. But whenever they drop it and they include the NPCs in it, like there's gonna be some new hardware with it. Now, what we get in the hardware, we don't know, but I think they're paying attention. I think that we see them making strides to like make these devices better. You know, as far as like, you know, how you integrate the MPC X, man, is like literally is a beast. The Q links like are huge, bro. The Q links, the different buttons, the way that you can move, like, you know, and you see that in, you know, it don't matter what nobody's talking about as far as anything else. When you look at people in the studio who have MPCs, they don't have any other MPC on their table but an X.
What do you mean?
That's facts.
People who what? I've
You know,
never
because you
understood
know,
that.
there's a whole bunch of like, you know, all the controversy about all the stuff or whatever, you know, the
Oh,
sound and all that stuff. But like everybody, I see everybody using the X, man, and that's for a reason. The X is just it's a beast when it comes to like getting things done, you
mm,
know.
for sure. I mean, it just kinda sits at my house, and I don't get much use out of it, but, hey, that's just my situation. Um,
I'm just saying if you had your like your real carved out space and stuff like
yeah,
you said, when you get your man cave, bro, when you
right.
get your real man cave, I bet you that thing is gonna be a
A push 3.
yeah, it's gonna be a push.
Sorry. But hey, yeah, I wanted to just shout out everyone that's in here that I haven't by name. Immersive, thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate you returning. Tactical MIDI, thank you for your sense of humor and your input. CDM Civil Days Music was good, bro. Yeah, he's saying the Push 3 release took us all by surprise, and DJ Rec uses FL and the X together as a VST. Interesting. Mr. Tummy, I wonder if Akai considered the Force a success. Maybe Akai wasn't as excited moving forward, and Ableton decided to go it alone. Johnny Ravioli was good. Felipe was happening. Ghetto Styles is in here.
Yep, ghetto styles.
And
I
he
know he
says,
see I know he see the hat.
yeah. And he's like, Decap is definitely tall. I think he's like 8 foot though. That's why it looks like an MPC 500 in front of him.
Beat the block up hat.
Oh,
See how
you
we do.
met him. You guys meet? Did you meet Decap? Was this out here in California at the
Yeah,
what's it called? Did you meet
damn.
Decap as well?
Yeah, I don't remember if I met him. I know we seen him though. I think
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure
Cool.
there was so much stuff going on at Nam, bro. I still got to get my videos out from Nam.
Hey, come on. That's, that's
Yeah,
been a
man.
minute.
I know, but it was lit, man. Like I met Dilio, I met Sarah, the instrumentalist.
Oh, nice.
I
Yeah,
met
cool people.
I met there was a lot of people. I
Yeah,
can't remember everybody. I met Mitch Gallagher.
Mitch Gallagher.
Yeah, from
Man,
Sweetwater.
that guy's got a voice, man. His presentations are on point.
Oh yeah, man, Mitch. I was like money making Mitch. I don't think he knew what I was talking about, but
No, I don't.
that's off a movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, let's see.
Nah, man, the push, I think the push, like what I think the push is really great. What they're doing is the innovation.
Yeah,
Okay. You
for
know,
sure.
because there's a lot of people that love no, there's a lot of people that love Ableton. Ableton is like in this corner of the production, you know,
Hmm.
music production space. Like people rave about it, and they talk about how easy it is and how good
Really?
it is to use. Yeah, I guess it's really good to use live too. So
Hmm.
like when people are trying to do live sets, a lot of people like use Ableton. I think it's really good for that. Um, but then now you got this standalone device that has like, the specs of a computer, and you can like really do live sets without a computer now, probably. And then like it doesn't have the arranger. They said the arranger's not on it, but you know,
Yeah.
kind of like the Force didn't start out with the arranger, so eventually they'll probably have
But,
the arranger
but
too.
what does that mean as far as Ableton? Does it mean you can't arrange, or it just doesn't have the same kind of arrangement view? Because if we talk about MPCs, people want an arrangement view, but there's
Yeah.
still a way of arranging using song mode. So is there, I know that you don't have much experience with that, but that is a question
Yeah,
for
I don't know, but I believe that if people are going to be able to use this thing like they can in a DAW standalone, they're going to want an arrangement mode because that's what they're used to using in Ableton, the
hmm
software.
hmm
It's different with the MPC. Like if they don't really have to want to give us an arranger, they don't, because people have been using song mode this whole time. So it's already got its proprietary way of like piecing or making a composition on the
Right.
MPC. So like if we got an arranger, that would just be an extra thing. But for Ableton users, like the way that you arrange music in Ableton is like the same way. So if they don't add that in there, like I think that would be a major like disadvantage to the push.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
It'll probably be an update thing, most likely. That
but like
just that seems like the music production world now is you're gonna expect updates. Most of these companies make updates. They release stuff and they kind of wait for feedback from the community, their target audiences, and then they add a lot of that stuff. So
yeah, they do, man. And like Ableton is going to be more than powerful enough to handle an arranger. If we can handle an arranger on the Force, then they'll definitely be able to do it
mm,
on the push. And like I said, it's just crazy. I love the fact that they're making it to where it can be upgradable.
yeah,
That's the thing. It's like,
that's the groundbreaking thing, and that's why I think we're talking about the future of standalone.
yeah. Because like, honestly, I don't know how much it takes to make these units, like how much it takes to make MPC X or MPC Live, but it might be it might be cheaper for the companies and profitable for them to just allow you to buy one, of the controllers or one of the units, and then just make the modules for you to be able to update it, you
Yeah,
know.
and
And you can keep the same hardware that you're used to instead of having to learn
yeah. So
new
I
stuff.
think it's kind of taking a kind of the software model business model too, because like if you own a piece of software, a lot of times if you want to update, you get a discount rather than if you were just coming in. So possibly after push 3 there'll be like a push 4 internal that you can add to your push 3, and then it's just going to cost you $1,000 instead of $2,000.
Yeah.
um Maybe that's a possibility, right?
But you would do that though. You know what I'm saying? Like let's say because they do it in, like, once again, I'm gonna relate it back to gaming. People buy PCs and they build them for gaming, but like, as gaming it gets enhances and
Yeah.
more graphic demanding games come out and stuff like that, the older hardware has trouble running it. So what do? They create new components that you can just switch out in your computer, and then
Mm,
now you can run the new gen games.
yeah.
It's the same thing. As these plug, because I'm imagining that they're gonna bring VST 3 to this platform too. If they don't do that, I would think that would be, because why are you making this thing that powerful just to
Mm.
run your own
Well,
proprietary
yeah.
VSTs?
All these companies just got to push the envelope every time, and I think that's what it is because Akai could have probably made the NPC modular, but up until Machine Plus, there wasn't anybody as far as standalone even giving them the competition.
Hmm.
Like Yeah, so it's just a matter of it is strategic because they don't have to do that now. They could save that better stuff for later and sell all these other products in the meantime.
Yeah.
But yeah, up until this point, there was nothing really competing with the MPC as far as like a full all around standalone that you could make music in, complete songs in on its own.
Well, you know, these companies are open up and they're opening up and they're seeing that like what can be done. Like, you know, I like Ghetto Styles video he just did on the Push 3 and how he was saying that a lot of people say that it couldn't be done with Akai, but now the Push has done it, you know, as far as like giving you more RAM and giving you all this stuff like you like for a decent price too, because $2,000, you know, at that price is still cheaper than the MPC X SE, you know, at $2,000. So you're still getting something that's even more powerful than the MPC XE as far as like on paper with the specs, you know, but costs less. So
right, but I think someone was comparing it to the fact that it doesn't come with the software as it still being kind of the same because you don't get the Ableton full software. Whereas with the MPC, you get the full software.
okay, so it doesn't come with the full
No,
full
I believe
version
it
of
comes with
Ableton?
a light version of Ableton.
Okay, so you
Which
still
is
got to
like
buy the
6
software.
yeah, it's still like 16 tracks.
Okay, so that
I mean, it
does
makes
kinda,
sense because the way they were putting it is like Ableton was a software company first, while
yeah,
MPC was a hardware company, and they jumped into the software world. So Ableton existed prior to Push existing, right? I
yeah,
mean, I don't know the timeline. So Ableton was a thing all on its own. So I guess that's where you can kind of have the reasoning of it being sold separately. But
yeah.
yeah, if you look at it that way, then it's kind of the equivalent in price. I don't know who was telling me. I don't know if it was you, but I think it was in my last stream. Someone was saying like the full version of Ableton it's like a suite. I don't know what's included. It's like $800 something. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not really
I can look it
sure. Yeah.
I can look it up right
So
now and see
okay,
what it is
well,
because
you
I'm
look
on
it
the,
up. I'll get in the chat. Smooth Shaddai was good.
when I had Ableton, it was pirated.
Yeah, that's how I got in this whole thing. Pirated FL Studio.
Hey man, you got to start somewhere. I tell you something, but you know, like I tell people, like as soon as you can just start paying for this stuff, it's way better to just buy it.
Mm, yeah.
Because like I remember back in the days, like when pirating was like a big thing, you
Mhm.
know, and like but every time they came up with updates and stuff like that, sometimes you would like have to find the new cracks for the updated stuff, or you just had to use the old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 7.4 Ableton Live. The intro is $99. Ableton Live Standard is $449, and then Ableton Live the Suite Complete Integrated Studio is $749.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty expensive, man. It is like if you want to get the big one. Those look like
That's
Pro
it's like
Tools
Pro Tools
prices.
prices. Exactly what I was thinking. Like,
Yeah, because
yeah.
I think I paid like $500 or $600 for my Pro Tools 12,
Mm,
and
I
then
got
like you got to
yeah. I
pay
got.
like $99 or something a year if you want to
Oh
get
really?
the updates. Yeah,
Yeah.
have
I
it be
don't
tripping.
know. I had like an educational version because I was going to school for this,
Mm-hmm.
so it was heavily discounted, I believe. Um, but let's see. Someone go Ghetto Styles. Go ahead and plug the hat. Caesar, show him the hat.
Oh man,
Go ahead and plug it in here.
you know I be plugging the hats, bro. You know we got the red, beat the block up
I'm actually
hat.
wearing my own hat too,
You know what
so
I'm
we're
saying?
gonna plug
And
it.
Raul wearing this hat. You know, we gonna plug the homies and stuff. You know, you can go get this off the website. Ghetto Styles will put in the because I always forget. I think it's beattheblockup.com, or you can get it off of I think they have it on. Do you have it on Teespring? I don't think you can do the hats through Teespring. I don't know where you got it, but
I do my hats through Teespring.
oh, do you?
Yeah, this is a Teespring thing. You can find it
I
in my
need to figure
store.
out I need to figure out how to do that because I haven't been able to do any hats yet. But
Yeah, and you can link that to your YouTube channel now.
yeah, well
There used to be a different requirement where you had to be like at 10,000 subscribers, but now you can just be at 1,000.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
it. I got mine linked. I actually got a new shirt that I just created. It's called the prescription. It says prescription for beat block, and then it has
Oh
an
yeah.
MPC live
Yeah. Oh,
too.
that's fire. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
pick one of those up.
Nah, but it's a dope hat, man. You guys can see it. It's got the logo on it. You know, red with the black. You know, I think he's got different colors. You know, Raul sporting the
Yeah,
black and the gold right there. You know,
for sure.
for all my Pittsburgh people. You know, black and yellow kind of.
Yeah.
You know,
It just says sample on it. It got some keys and stuff. So just
yeah.
yeah.
If you guys want to support, that's the way. That's one of the ways that you guys can support. I always try to support creators. You know what I'm saying, that are
For sure.
doing this. So, you know, I buy these things. Like Ghetto Styles didn't send this to me. I bought this. I bought a shirt from Lifted Noise. I buy packs from people. You know, I got the second edition of Standalone Soul ever made from Sight, but
Uh,
he didn't give it to me. I paid for it. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were trying to say you paid for it, but you never got it. I was like, what?
No, I got it. I got it.
Good.
It's down here, I think. Yeah, but it's got, because all the ones that you get when you get the deluxe edition is numbered, so it tells you what
Mm,
number you got.
yeah, that's
You
dope.
know what I'm saying? So I got number 2.
Yeah, I always thought that was an innovative way of releasing a pack. You don't see people doing stuff like that.
Yeah, man, that man is talented, man. We got a lot of talented people out here. That's why it's just good to support like you, like yourself. I feel like you're a very talented individual too. So, you know, anyway, anytime that I can support you or like plug your stuff,
Yeah,
I try to.
yeah, we are here just trying to improve. But yeah, back to the chat. I was reading this from Felipe. So if you can clear this up for me, I don't know the difference. What is the ARM chip versus a RAM chip? Are those comparable
Well,
components?
I think the difference between an ARM chip and a RAM chip is a RAM chip is a chip that has a CPU and then the RAM is separate. So like in a standard computer, you'll have like a CPU, which like, you know, on computers like we have like Ryzen 9, and then but you'll have to buy the RAM separately, and it's separate, you know. And it works good as fast, but the ARM chips are a little bit faster because a lot of the ARM chips have the RAM built into the CPU. It's like together, like the new MacBooks, they have a specific I think it's a specific ARM chip, the M1 processor, and it has the gigabytes of RAM and all that stuff like actually in the actual CPU.
Okay.
So I think that's the difference. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what he's talking about. And
Okay.
the ARM chips are a lot faster, man. You know, because the CPU doesn't have to communicate with the board, doesn't have to go out to the RAM and then back to communicate. It's all right there. So
So it's more efficient in a way.
yeah, more efficient.
Okay.
That's why the new Macs are so powerful, man, with the ARM chips. You know, they're just they don't have like they don't have to go too far to communicate with all the things on the board, you know, because it's all in one package,
Mhm.
one chip.
Okay. Okay. So tactical MIDI is saying I'm not sure I understand this either. Like I don't get too deep into the tech. Um he said verse A 1.7 bass to 4 gigahertz boost. I think we enter the era of dedicated music computers. This is amazing. Okay, so I do you well that's one question. It makes me think, I don't know if it's related to what he's saying, but it makes me think of like the question I had is, do you think we'll see more of these software companies go standalone, and what other software companies can you see that happening with? Will we see it from FL? I mean, FL's been around for a while.
I
um
don't know why, you know, it's crazy because FL was my first love, but I don't know why they haven't. I think they do have prepared proprietary like controllers, like MIDI controllers that you can use with FL. But they don't have like a FL hardware, like an MPC that you can use standalone. Like we were kind of talking about this off camera. I think what happened is like back in the day, you had to use these machines, or you had like everything was pretty much analog, and people were using these devices, but they were expensive as shit. You know, we even talk about like the MPC 3000. The MPC 3000 was like $3,600 when it first came out.
Yeah.
Back in that day, like if you equivalent it to today's money, that's like over $7,000. So it's like everybody didn't have an MPC 3000 because you're not spending $7,000 on something like that. You could buy a car, buy like a whole. You could buy something like with that's down payment on the house, man. I think I paid like I probably paid around 65 to 7,000 to get my house, to buy my house, to put a down payment on it. So you're
Mm.
talking about putting a down payment on a house to get an
Oh,
MPC. You know what I'm
I see what
saying?
you're saying.
And
Yeah.
yeah, analog gear, bro. All of it, if you look at like some of the classic stuff, it's all so expensive. So what these companies did was they found a itch in the market. They found a hole. They found a gap where they knew that normal people wanted to make music, and people wanted to make music, but it needed to be more affordable, kind of like what they did with the computers. You know, Bill Gates wanted to put a computer in everybody's house. That was his dream. But when computers first came out, they were so big and expensive that
Mm.
everybody didn't have them. Well, he found a way to make them compact, to make them cheaper so that regular people could get them. So that's where we get into the box, in the box mixing, and in the box like software with Pro Tools and Logic, GarageBand, FL Studio, etc. You know, but the itch for hardware never left because people
Yeah.
still like it's
There's
still like
still
a different.
controllers trying to
Yeah,
give you that same experience.
yeah, and that's what the
Right.
controllers, that's basically all MIDI controllers are there for, is to kind of give you the same experience as analog, but like still inside the box. But I think
Mhm.
people still wanted that analog, feel and be able to just detach from the computer. So then that's why, like, it's kind of, to me, it's kind of coming like full circle. It's like analog, then they went into the box, they made it cheaper, but now, they're figuring out that they can make analog the same way, so they're compacting these things, making them cheaper. And now you see more people having like what I'm trying to build, like a hybrid studio, a studio where I have like a mix between digital and analog gear, but also things that I can do, that standalone, that I can detach away from my
Mm.
workstation and,
Mhm.
make music, you know, and I think it's just coming full circle. That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I just it's just curious to see how many other companies go standalone. Although there's still companies that are making devices that are standalone devices, right? Um,
Yeah.
but it's still pretty narrow as far as options of if you wanted to just go standalone. Even if you wanted that option to go onto a computer and run the software, we only have three options, I think, right now. So now the push three, the NPC, and the machine. Those are the only like right
But you
fully
got more.
hybrid and
You got
standalone.
well, yeah, hybrid. You know what I'm saying? But we
Mhm.
got a lot of standalone devices.
Yeah,
You got a
same.
couple of them. You got the Roland SB. You
Right, but
know,
it's not something that works with software,
yeah,
right?
it's just
So
completely standalone. It's like
yeah,
and like the Digitracks and stuff like that, or the Digitac or whatever those
although
things are
yeah,
called.
although yeah, and they have some kind of integration. Like and now the SP has like you can use there's a software editor that you can use, and now you can put it into your DAW and use it as an instance,
Mm.
like a plugin. So that's there. Um, but yeah, it's just a curious thing to see what other companies follow suit. I think it's just going to be the companies that already have controllers. I don't know what else is out there
I
that
think
have.
Akai actually brought back like the standalone, because like when the Renaissance came out, it was basically a computer controller, so it was no different than buying a MIDI controller. It just was amazing because it looked like the MPC. It had all the buttons and stuff and shortcuts like you would use on the MPC, but you still had to tether it to the computer. When they came out with the X and Live, bro, I think that's what really like shook up the game as far as like standalone beat making machines. Because
Yeah.
after the MPC came out, now you see all these other like because like I'm not even playing with you. Like I'm a in the box. Like if we go on my track record for the years that I've been, making music and producing, I did a lot of the stuff that I did in the box using like FL Studio, Pro Tools, you know, some stuff in Logic, but mostly in the box stuff. It wasn't till I got the MPC Renaissance that I actually like kind of divvy. And I know like they say that people use the MPC software and stuff. I barely ever use the MPC software, man. Like a
Mhm.
lot of the stuff that I do is in standalone, and then I just I still use like like I'll use like FL or Pro Tools or Logic to mix, my stuff when I'm done,
Mhm.
making it. But like as far as like actually creating the beats and stuff like that, and I feel like I probably could jump on FL still right now and be a dog in FL. But it's just so fun making beats on the MPC, like away from everything, and just the whole feel. I don't know what it is, bro. It's like it's kind of magical. you know
What would it take for you to go completely standalone? What would that standalone look like?
the standalone that gives me VST threes
That's it, and it's over. You can throw your
and
computer
an
away.
arranger. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm really waiting for like a real standard, because it seems like that's what they're pushing for too. Like with this push two, that's why I'm kind of excited about it, is because like just think about having like the live, or I mean having the push three, and then being able to use your native instruments plugins on it.
Hmm. Yeah,
How crazy would that be, bro? Like as good as the native instruments plugins are, and like some of these plugins out here, like what if you can use that stuff with nothing? And you can do that with a laptop. You could, but it's not the same thing, man. It's not the same thing like as beating, like I got the MPC X right here. It's not the same thing as doing this and twisting that, and what I'm saying, it's just you know it's not the same. So if they create a device that does all that stuff and it gives me VST threes on it, and I can
yeah.
I can
So
use I can use like any one of my software suites on it,
yeah.
I'm sold.
Well, I don't know. It doesn't look like that's the direction we're at yet, quite yet, because the push three doesn't have that VS3 support. Um, what I heard someone saying is though that they already have like third party companies already make their instruments, so they're gonna be pretty good. And I mean, Akai is making their own instruments. So what is
And
the
they're
likelihood?
getting better too. And that's the thing, like I'm saying about Akai. Everybody keeps counting Akai. And let me go back and say this too. Let me go back and let me get in the camera. A lot of this stuff you can already do with the MPC. A lot of people do not auto sample their stuff. You can auto sample your plugins
Hmm.
and have them in there as key groups. You can auto sample your hardware and have them in the MPC as key groups. You can auto sample your plugins inside the MPC, like we talk about Fabric XL. You can only load 8 instances of Fabric XL on the MPC SE. You can auto sample these plugins
Yeah, it's.
and
I
make
mean,
them key groups.
it's definitely cool. It's not exactly the same though, but it's
It's not.
cool.
I mean, you can't tweak the stuff, but like you really could. I mean, it's kind of, if you wanted to put like, let's say you get like the basic sound of like or like you get the meat, because you get the meat. You know what I'm saying? If you sample a preset from Fabric XL, you're gonna get the meat. You still can add like plugins to it and make it like, let's say you want to turn the reverb up, or you
Yeah,
want
that's true.
reverb. You can put reverb on it, man.
Yeah,
Or
I
you
mean
can
it.
just, and then you can bake that stuff in too. Like, you can reset, you can make different presets. You can resample it
Right. I
with
mean
more
that's
reverb
cool.
and make a different preset.
When I was
Like,
saying it's not the same, I'm thinking more as far as like articulations and what those VSTs, how they programmed round robin or the velocity hit to be a different sample and that kind
You
of
can do that. You can do that with auto sampling too.
a little bit, yeah. But it's
You can do that with auto sampling too. All
yeah,
you got to do is set the, like they gives you 4.
right.
It
Get
gives
4
you
layers.
four layers. So if you want to have it like you hit it soft and it triggers one sound, you can, and then you hit it hard, it can trigger like the rest of it, and it'll sample that stuff in, bro. I've done it, like, and I don't know if you mess with like if you play with like Masada's like Psycho Kits, like some of the stuff that he's been able, some of the key groups and stuff that he's been able to do with like the Psycho Kits is like basically like the potential of the MPC, what you can do, like as far as like your key groups, bro. They're like pretty advanced.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can really it's just people don't want to do the work. They won't listen.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the
it's
it
intuitive.
requires time, definitely time.
But once you get it locked in, let's say I'm gonna take a day and I'm gonna just say skip it. I'm gonna get all my favorite presets and I'm gonna auto sample them. I'm gonna get them the way that I want, and then they never leave me. They're always in my MPC, and when I want to pull them up, they're always there. Yeah. And I don't have to worry about 8 instances of Fabric XL because I'll just pull up the Fabric XL auto sample key group that I made. That sounds pretty much just the same,
For sure.
And now I got the full power in Standalone.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like the MPCs they're still crazy, bro.
Oh no, man, it's still I think
they're still, and I know I sound like an MPC fanboy right now, but it's not warranted. It's warranted, man. It's like you can do a lot with them. You just got to put in the work. But that's not discounting what the push is going to do, and like how it's going to shake up the market, because it's definitely going to shake up the market. It's definitely going to make these brands step their game up, and that's what I'm more excited for, because I'm probably not even gonna get a push or nothing like that, but I know what it's gonna do to the industry. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're smart sticking to one platform. I think that's the best way to improve your own abilities and move forward and finish stuff.
Yeah.
I like to try different gear. I'm just kind of obsessed with samplers in general. It's the main thing I go for when something is released. I want to try it. So yeah, the push 3's got me gassed up, but even me trying different stuff like the SP and sample track, I always come back around, to the MPC, because there still isn't anything for what I want to do complete, as complete as what it is, so.
Well, the best thing you can, like you said, the best thing you can do is try to master one thing. I don't care who you are, bro. Like, I've seen people like, master certain things, and once they master it, they like blow everybody out the water. You can look at you look at like an instrument, right? There's 1,000 different pianos. There's a lot of different different grands you can get, uprights, just different keyboards that you can get. But if you don't know how to play it right, it's still not going to sound, it's still not going to be great. The people who actually practice and learn how to play the piano the correct way, it's gonna sound beautiful when they play. I had somebody do that to me on the guitar, man, because I play guitar. I got my guitars back there. When I was learning, I went to this band, and I was telling this guy, like, yeah, I'm learning how to play, and he let me play my guitar. And I was playing it, and I made it sound pretty good. It was sounding good. I was like, I think I might need a new guitar, or a better guitar, because, I can't get it to the sound. The sound isn't the way that I want it to sound. You know what I'm saying? He was like, he said, I think it's fine. And he said, you just got to practice a little bit more. And I was like, oh, really? He was like, he's like, let me see it. Right. Yeah. So he takes it and he starts playing it, and he makes it sound like a $5,000 guitar. Yeah, and I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? It's like, once you learn the techniques, man, if you learn the techniques and and really like immerse yourself in
That's what it
what you're
is.
trying to learn,
That's what it is.
you can become a weapon, in anything.
Definitely, definitely. That's probably the number one thing to work on is your skills. I like what you're saying is like I've seen people like on demo videos make like Casio sounds. Like they could really sell them as long as their
Yeah.
skills, their keyboard skills, they can make it sound great because they know the theory, they know how to play. So that's
Mhm.
yeah. So that's something to keep in mind when new stuff comes out like this because although the gas is there and I'd like to try it, it's just really not necessary. It would be better for me to just stick to what I'm doing. And even with like updates come out, it's like it's always tempting. Like with the MPC, I turn it on, there's a new update, and I just go, okay, update. But was that even necessary?
Yeah.
Like even the little ones, I'm like, wait, why am I even updating?
Yeah.
But
If it ain't broke, you don't need to fix it. But like
right,
I said, it's just if you learn how to do the stuff right, man, it's gonna be way better than trying to learn 1,000 different things, you know.
yeah,
And and yeah, you got to stick to what you know. And then once you learn like how to use a platform, or master a platform or get really good with it, then you can move to different platforms. I learned a couple different platforms. I know how to use Pro Tools, Logic. I don't know how to use Logic very well, but once you use one DAW, you know you just
hmm
got to learn the
pretty soon.
what I'm saying, you learn the ins and outs. If you learn the basics and you learn like how this stuff works, it's all pretty much the same. It's just about mastering the one thing that you have. Like, if I'm using the MPC X and the MPC software, if I can learn how to master that, then I'm gonna be faster. I'm gonna be more efficient. I'm gonna, be able to get the creativity that I want out of it, because all these things are just tools. We are the musicians. We are the conductors. We are the ones that make these things do what we want them to do. We tell it to do this, and it does what we tell it to do. And
Right,
if you master it, then you can tell it what to do on command and make it sound the way that you want it to sound. You know.
right, for sure. I
So
want to get the chat a little bit more involved, do some shout outs. So L Cool J, what's good? Thanks for coming in. Let's see. Ram, what's good, man? So yeah, Ram was saying like the MPC X SE and Ableton Suite and Push 3 are around 3K. So it's about a draw as far as prices go.
okay.
Beats with Kev was good. Yeah, and the thing with the like he's saying, I wish they went the Black Magic route, so because you get a free copy with every piece of hardware you buy. The only difference with Ableton is that they were a software company first. And so, because I was like in my head, I was thinking about, okay, who are the other companies that have now gone standalone? Well, you got Machine and then you got Akai, right?
Yeah.
But Machine was never just a software on its own. It was the software that was paired with the controller. So that's why you get those two things, right?
Yeah.
Even still, I believe.
Well,
Um,
Native Instruments is the parent company, or it's basically what Machine is based off of, and they did start off as a software company. They
well,
were a
that's facts,
software
but
suite.
machine itself never existed as just a software
No,
without a controller.
no,
Yeah, that's the point I was making.
yeah, correct.
Um, let's see. Ghetto Styles. You really only have to buy the software if you are brand new to Ableton, and most of the people purchasing are dedicated Ableton users.
Yeah, you have to be, man. I mean, like because honestly, I'm not paying. I mean, unless I just like am tired of the platform that I'm on, I'm not paying $2,000 for something just so I can learn something new. You know, I'd
Yeah,
rather
it's a
take
big
2,000.
roadblock.
I'd rather just take $2,000 and buy a new MPC, because that's what I'm used to making or used to using.
Mm,
Like, or take $2,000 and buy a MPC Key 61.
yeah. So yeah, man, I have a strong desire to just kind of get over this whole new shiny toy thing and just get down to business.
Yeah, that's all you got to do, man. I think it's very exciting for the novation. I mean, not the novation, but the
It's exciting for
Ableton.
us,
For
for
It's
MPC
exciting for
users, like
us.
you
Yeah,
said, because it
it's
just
exciting for us because of the competition.
right.
But I
But then again, that's just more stuff that we don't need still. Because like, if they would never put anything new out, I mean, would you not be able to make music?
no,
No,
I'm
it's
still
not.
making music, you know. I'm gonna make some bangers.
There you
You know
go.
what I'm saying? We're still gonna
David
make some bangers.
Cash, what's good? Immersive got a lot to say. FL workflows too backwards and desktop centric for a standalone uncontroller based flow. Yeah, the closest thing they have as far as a controller, it was I think made by Akai with the Akai Fire.
Hmm.
We get prosumer MPCs now, but the workflow is better and clean sound is better than being stuck to a color. Okay. Circuitry in 3K, 4K, and ASR was big and got hot. Shamaruku machine went pretty crazy around that time.
Hmm.
I'm not sure exactly what we were talking about when we referenced that. The lack of visual feedback is what makes it better. Okay. For me,
I do like one thing that I did see on the push that I like that I'm still waiting for Akai to do
what's
is
that?
the visual equalizer, man.
Oh,
I
they
don't
got
know
that
why.
now.
I don't know why because you're supposed to use your ears when you mix, you know. But like it's just something about the visual equalizer, like the 7 bands and like the
Mm.
4 bands
Yeah, that would be nice.
that just pleases me, you know.
Yeah. Well,
Pause.
it might be coming. You see them releasing these new plugins for sale. You'll have to buy it most likely,
Yeah. I
but
want to be
maybe all
pleased, Akai. Please me.
right.
Visual EQ, man.
Yeah. Um. Let's see. So Ghetto Styles, he was answering the question. For him to go completely standalone, the MPC will have to be able to do everything it can do in controller mode. Everything. Okay.
Yeah. It makes sense.
For
And you
sure.
know what? Really is honestly, bro. And me and Ghetto Style talked about this stuff too. You know, it wouldn't take them. It wouldn't if they're gonna redo the architecture. Like if they make a new MPC, the new one that they make. If they just put like 16 gigs of RAM in it, 8 to 16 gigs. They might not even need 16 gigs. If they do what the Ableton push does, I would say 16. If they put 16 gigs of RAM in it and like a decent ARM chip and just put the full software inside the MPC, they could do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much that would cost, but I do know that if they just because with music you don't need crazy specs like that to get, and we're not when you're producing, you're not making tracks of like 100, you're not doing 100 tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need that. That's why I think like 8 gigs would be fine. Because like once you start getting into 16 gigs and stuff like that, you can go up to like in Logic, you can do like 100 and some tracks or
Yeah.
whatever.
But it's also different when it comes to a computer, right? Because you're running whatever else it's running, right? Like, isn't it kind of relative since you have a dedicated device that you don't need as much RAM?
Yeah, all you got to do is make it to where it would be hard because you would have to put, and that's the only tricky part is making it proprietary or optimizing it for what you're trying to do, but allowing it to run a protocol because all this stuff is running through like like a Windows setting, Windows or Mac, you know, like everything is Windows or Mac formatted. So being able to get these things in there, the software companies will have to be willing to make like the software for the actual platform that it's on too, or maybe these companies can come together and create one proprietary like codec so that this like when they do make similar to like AAC or was it like AAC or VST, you know what I'm saying, like just make it compatible to where you can load the stuff in and that could work, but it'll have to be some proprietary.
Okay. Jack Bauer says I should make a standalone complete keyboard. I think, and that's something that I mentioned earlier. Someone commented on a video like a month or so ago saying that is coming. So Could be already something that's in the works. But what would that be like? Would it just be a, would it be like just straight up sounds? Would it have a sequencer? Infinity Link, what's good?
Are you reading the one where he says he's got the MPC one and still in the box?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh,
Are you okay? Let me see. DJ Rec. The problem is that Akai is not owned and developed by the Japanese anymore. It's owned by. Okay.
I ain't mad at the white folks. I'm telling you this for what they did. You know, the MPC, like it's not perfect, man. Let's not sit up here and pretend that like Akai is perfect. None of these brands are perfect, man. But as long as I say this, like us as consumers have to stick together and we have to be vocal, you know. But we also need other companies to like the push to create competition so that these companies actually listen. Like it don't matter who make this stuff. Like at the end of the day, we are the consumers. When we take our hard earned dollar and we put that down on the machine, it's because of something. And we got to make sure that we make these companies stand on the things that we want them to do. And as long as we're being vocal and to right now, so because like right now, I don't think Akai thinks that that they're doing anything wrong because the sales are probably pretty good. I've seen a lot of people cop the MPC SE despite the recent controversy.
Yeah,
There's
I
a lot
seen.
of people that's got the MPC SE.
Is I seen
So,
a thing. I think Akai posted. They said that it was sold out. So does that mean they're not going to be making anymore?
I don't know. I think they're gonna bring back the red and black one and just have it upgraded. You know,
Hmm.
I think the colorway for the SE, I think they said it was gonna be a limited run. So, if that's the case, I think that's actually pretty dope. You know,
So you're
because
saying we'll see
if they're calling, yeah, we'll see.
four.
But
We'll see 4 gigabytes in the
yeah, and the
OG.
red and the OG red and black ones, it'll just be updated. But the special edition ones are the only ones that you'll be able to get that's got the retro color.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, Matthew Gaines was good. As good as the Push 3 seems to be, I'll sit this one out. Maybe a Push 2 will be had for cheap to play with. Ableton Session View isn't really me. Okay.
That's not standalone though. Just remember that.
Right.
The Push 3 is the only one that's standalone.
Yeah, Infinity Link says I have an MPC one still in the box, never opened, that I purchased when it first came out. That's wild. You must have a lot of patience. I want to use it, but I'm stuck on the
Yeah, he does.
SP44 Mark II. Should I open the box or sell it? Huh. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're gonna sell it, then maybe right now would be the time to sell it because the MK2 is most likely going to be dropping whatever that updated version of the one is, and so we probably won't get as much for it. But people are expecting that anyhow. So
And the regular one, like he might be able to get more for it right now too if he's gonna sell it because you can't buy it. You can't buy a one right now.
no, it's not on. It's not on Zounds. I know that
Yeah,
for a fact.
I think they discontinued the regular one. So I haven't seen a place where you can buy one brand new. You know. So he might be able to get more for it. But I would just say, man, if you're definitely like dope on the Mark II, and that's what you use primarily, bro, and you don't have no use for the MPC one, then yeah, sell the one, bro.
I guess yeah, it just depends on how you work. Like if I was only sample based, I'd probably just mess with the 404 because it's that much funner and like the sampling is so like quick and easy.
Yeah.
But for me, what that's missing is something like Pad Perform. And I just don't. I can't get over the fact that you can't name samples on a MK2 like on a sampler in the year 2023. Like you can't name samples on it. It's weird.
Look, man, the MPC one, my screen keeps doing this, but the MPC one, like people like because it's entry level, it doesn't cost that much. They think that it's like, you know, not as good as the other ones, man. The MPC one is a beast, bro.
Mhm.
The MPC one, didn't you have one before?
I did for a good minute, yeah.
The shortcut buttons on it is almost it's like
Yeah, you have
comparable
shortcut
to the
buttons on
X.
it. No, you have shortcut buttons on it that the X doesn't have. At
Yeah,
least I still to this day haven't found a grid view button on the X, but you have it on the one.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think the things that make it entry level are just that it's the physical, it's some of the physical
It's
stuff.
the
Like you don't,
IO. It's the
yeah, the
IO.
IO. You don't only have one USB, right? And you only have the
But
stereo outs. You don't
you
have the
only
assignable outs. You
you
don't.
only need one. You only need one USB because now that we have MIDI over USB, you can literally hook up what they say is like 17 devices
Right.
to it. Like if you have
It's,
like a dongle,
it's
like
just
you just get a dongle. Yeah.
it's just luxury stuff you're paying for. You
Yeah.
know, like you can't put a hard drive in it, but I mean, you can put like I bet you can put a terabyte SD card in it. You know, and then you could also just do the USB as well.
Yeah. All you gotta do is do it like a USB dongle, man. And like with the USB dongle, like if you get like a 6 port or something like that, you can hook up a hard drive, you can hook up your controller keyboard, you can hook up like, you know, your software, like you can hook up like outboard gear to it too, MIDI it over USB and then plug the inputs in, like have the outputs of the gear going into the inputs. Or you can run something like a mixer, like what I got. I have like a couple devices going through a mixer and I have the outputs going into the inputs of the MPC. So then now I have like 4 different like devices I can use, guitars, outboard gear or synths and stuff like that going in, and I can still control that stuff over MIDI because you can do MIDI over USB, you know. So you can trigger
Yeah.
it with the MIDI and have the actual sound coming in and sample the sound that way. There's a lot of things that you can do, man. Even with the one,
Yeah.
still
Facts.
a beast, you
Yeah,
know.
most definitely. Most definitely. Um, yeah, so I'll probably pass on that new one that comes out unless they put a battery in it.
Mm.
They should definitely. I think they should make that one thing modular though. Let's be able to put like a battery in it. That would
If
be
they
dope.
put if they put a battery in the one and made it just and rated it just as good as the Live 2, it would probably be the only thing that the Live 2 would have on the MPC 1 would be the speaker at that point. But I think it would be a better device because of the shortcut buttons.
Yeah, they probably sell out. So
It
maybe
would be
maybe they won't update the NPC Live too. Maybe this kind of like my prediction is that they're gonna make something in between. But
it would be better than this if they put a battery in it. The shortcut buttons, bro, make like, and the form factor of it, man. It's
yeah, the form
you want
factor would be the killer thing.
yeah, you want to talk about a modular MPC that you can take anywhere. That would be the one. It's a lot. It's a lot. I
But
got
that,
I got the one right there, sitting back there.
yeah, but that's probably not what's happening. It's just it's gonna be a. Is this? I don't know. Is it if it's gonna be a special edition as well? We seen a leak of it. It's gonna be red. It's gonna have 4 gigs.
Yeah, for all
But
my buds out
I don't
there.
know if it'll have. I don't know if it'll have the instruments. But yeah, I mean, it seems pretty underwhelming. But yeah, we just gotta wait. So I got a question for everyone in the chat. Will you be getting a push 3, or are you just here for the show and just to see what's coming next? Um, but yeah, any other thoughts as far as what's coming up within the year?
No, man, I'm kind of like I'm kind of interested to see what Native Instruments is gonna drop because you know like I know they had a lot of problems with the Machine Plus. I think it was still a good device for a lot of people, but there was like the drawbacks too for it. So I think I think they're gonna update the Machine Plus, and when they come out with the second version, it's gonna be a beast. I just kind of mock my words. I predict that the second one is gonna be a monster.
Mm,
So, and if that one comes out, I might just try it out just to see. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
because I
But
want to know. I want to see. I think it's gonna be crazy.
So that's what you see coming. Is that what you
I
want?
see. I see.
What do you want to see coming? Is there a difference between what you see coming and what you want to see? As
What I
far as
want
like
to.
anything, like any kind of device, maybe a new MPC or whatever.
To be honest, man, I don't. I think as far as what I have, now that I have like the stuff that I have now in my studio, I think I'm like just starting to focus on like outboard gear. Like I
Mhm.
told you, just really like completing my dream of having like the hybrid, you know, um analog uh and digital like studio. So I'm gonna be working on getting like outboard gear.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like maybe some preamps, 500 series stuff. I don't know which route I'm gonna go yet. But
Mhm.
that's as far as
I'm gonna
the
stop.
like the MPCs or like the beat controllers and stuff like that. I think the I think everything I have everything I want in these devices. You know, they just got to keep innovating and making them better, and I'll be happy with that because like I don't think there's gonna be anything that's gonna take me away from the MPC like platform. And that's just me, you know. A lot of people want to try different things. You know, that's good. If you can, if you want to experiment, then try different things. But I tell you right now, learning one thing is gonna be the way to go. Learning something and mastering it is gonna be the way to go. You know, a lot of you guys are good on the MPC, and you know you might be discouraged or disappointed in some of the things that Akai has done, but when it comes to like your workflow, you know the MPC is where your meat and potatoes is. So you don't want to leave the meat and potatoes just to try to learn how to make a new dish. You know what I'm saying? When you already got the meat and potatoes already laid out, you got the steak. You know, it's that's just how I feel. You know, I think that these companies can always be better. They always can be better. We can almost always do better things. We can upgrade the specs. We can upgrade the converters. We can upgrade, you know, um, the components. But I think what we got is still good enough, pretty good. That's how I feel. I don't really need any more beat machines or any more controllers and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I missed pretty much everything you said. I had to take a phone call, but the last thing you said resonates. That's really the mindset I want to get on. Um, so aside from that, it's all gas. Like I would like to see the MPC Live Mini actually be a real thing, but definitely not a necessary thing. So yeah, man, I appreciate everyone coming in. I want to kind of go through and see what people are saying as far as picking this thing up. So we got Johnny Ravioli passing on the push. Ram will probably get a push 3 eventually. 3 months down the line, seeing what the updates bring. And it's going to take a while. I seen that it's on back order now, so it looks like it's sold out as well. Mr. Tummy pass. Jack Bauer want to push 3 to use alongside with my MPC X. I make beats. What's good? Um,
I make beats is up in here, man. What's good? I make beats.
yeah. I was never a fan of Machine. Okay, Matthew Gaines. I like how the Live 2 Key 61 and Studio MK2 buttons are backlit compared to the one. One is harder to use in low light. Yeah, so there's always that too. Um, Matthew Gaines is going to watch everyone else enjoy their push 3. Infinity Link, my volts power cable essentially makes the MPC one a portable device. Yeah, there's always that option. I had something similar. And then Johnny Ravioli says, I wish Serato made a standalone piece of hardware. Serato Studio is a monster. I guess there's another potential one that could be coming.
Yeah. So like I hear crazy things about Serato Studios too.
Yeah, I've heard it too. So
So
yeah,
if they come out with something that would I thought they were coming out with some or developing some type of like hardware.
they have a lot of controllers at work, right? So it's definitely probably one of the more likelihoods as far as companies that might be doing something. You got to look at the companies that have like dedicated controllers.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm tripping. I might be tripping, but I thought I heard that Serato was trying to create like a standalone like unit for
Yeah,
something.
maybe you did. Yeah.
Like, I am Sight just jumped in here.
Oh, it is.
Mr.
I want
Sight.
the push 3 just to do strings, horns, and guitar with the MPE.
Oh
Yo,
yeah.
it's crazy. It's like I see all these videos of people talking about MPE like it's some normal shit. Like I never even heard of it. I'm like, someone please say what the whole acronym stands for. I still don't know what it means.
Well, you know who's like
What does
famous
it
for
mean?
that? You know who's famous for that shit is like Roly. Like I always wanted to get
Uh,
like the Roly controllers or whatever because they like have great like MPE integration
uh,
with those like keyboards or whatever in the software.
yeah. But you know what? Also, I don't know whose post it was. I think it might have been DJ Kirk State. You know him?
Mm-hmm.
Someone put a post about, okay, where did this technology come from? And then yeah, I remember it was a post of Roger Lynn. He has a device that does the same thing where it's got a ton of pads on it and it's got the
Oh yeah,
MPE
yeah. I seen that. I
specs on
seen
it.
that video. Yeah.
Forget what it's called.
Was he using the push though? Was that the push? Was that a push or was that his
Mm,
own thing?
That was his own device, came out years ago. It's like a longer device. It's got a ton of little small pads on it. I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, it's something that he
Is
invented.
it called the Linstrument?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Instrument. Yeah, Destructo. It's
Destructo
good.
just dropped in. What's up, man? Yeah, man. We got some great guys just popped in, man.
Yeah, no
No,
doubt.
it's yeah, man. Roger Lynn, man. Like, out of all this stuff that's been going on, I think Roger Lynn, they should include Roger Lynn, back in the stuff. So
Yeah,
because Roger Lynn is obviously a beast.
no
You know what
doubt.
I'm saying? He said I hated the sausage feel of the rolling. I like pads. I
Yeah,
just
I'm kind of moving away from even keys. Like I haven't been using keyboards at all.
man,
Like an
I love
MPC
keys.
with pad perform, good.
I love the keys, bro. That's why I told you, bro. I was like debating on whether I wanted to get the MPC the X or the MPC key because when I'm in the studio, I use my controller keyboard. I don't just use the pads, man.
Mm.
I am trying to practice and learn like how to play the piano. I think the piano is a beautiful instrument, man.
No, no doubt, man.
Like
I one
the
day when I
piano,
get myself in a situation with like
yeah.
a house and stuff, I want to get a piano for
I'm
sure.
just
Just have it.
saying that's why I be playing on mine, man, because I'm like, I gotta learn how to like make this thing. I gotta learn how to freak it like that, like
Mm.
those guys. Same thing with the guitar, man. I like the three instruments I think like are the best instruments are like something like, a viola, piano, guitar. Those three, if you have them. And then of course, the drums. Drums make everything happen, but to get the beauty out of like things, bro.
Yeah,
Those three instruments right there are like king
very
to me.
expressive. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no doubt. So yeah, man, I kind of want to just wrap it up here. So if you have any last thoughts, King or anyone in the chat there, let
Well,
us
like
know.
well, like I said, man, like I appreciate you having me on the platform, you know what I'm saying, and sharing my thoughts
No doubt.
on this, you know.
Yeah, couldn't have done it without you, man. You got a lot of insight, and yeah, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man. I just say, I got my channel, the King of Caesar. You guys know a lot of you guys are subbed. If you're not, come over. I have tutorials, unboxings, and gear reviews and stuff, and we talk about similar stuff. Me and Raul, we've been rocking for a while, along with Sight. A lot of guys in the community here. We all rock. So, I got the beat the block down or beat the block up hat on support
Yeah,
the man Ghetto Styles. You see Lifted Noise got his hat. We got MPC gang stuff, all that. Support the creators if you can. But the best thing you guys can do is just come like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment, to
yeah,
show like, you rock with us. That's the best thing you guys could do. So,
right, makes sense.
but I support creators. So like I said, I buy a lot of this. I bought this, So
No doubt.
and I'm gonna plug it too.
Yeah. And I make beats. Yeah, we were talking about the graphic EQ, I think, before you jumped in. And I don't know how to answer it. What do you ask? Is the graphic EQ on the screen? Is it in standalone, or do you have to be connected to the DAW? I'm gonna assume that it's standalone.
I think it's standalone. And
Yeah.
like I think that's one of the things that people have been wanting on the MPC too for a long time, because I know that's one of the things that I want. You're always supposed to mix with your ears, but there's just something about it's just something pleasing about a graphic EQ that just satisfies people,
Yeah.
you know.
And that allows you to like easily. Well, I would like to see like a analyzer in there along with that EQ, so that you can easily like carve out stuff
Yeah,
and
so
make
you can
room
see
for.
like where your transients are coming from, right?
Yeah,
So like
exactly.
like if it's more high end or low end, and then like because I use a lot of EQs for taking out the bad space too. I think when I go through and mix stuff, I'll start carving out the like unneeded frequencies and like stuff first.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
And like graphic EQs help you with that a lot, so you're not
Right.
taking too much out too, because you don't want to take out the body of like the sample either. Like you don't want to do too much. You just want to take out the dead space.
Right.
So
Yeah, makes sense. So, but yeah, that's what we know so far. I make beats. I imagine though that it is in standalone, because otherwise that's kind of bad marketing to place it there, because that's what they're pushing, is the whole standalone thing. So I would say so. But yeah, I appreciate everyone coming in and hanging out with us and having this conversation. We'll probably have some more like this in the future. But yeah, God bless everyone and have a good night and a good weekend.
of course, man. Peace out.
Peace.